Happy Monday. And this Monday, which is actually a really beautiful Monday in November, kind of insane for the Midwest, we have two questions. The first question comes from Jamie. And Jamie writes, what strategies have you found most effective in fostering a culture of accountability and ownership within your team, especially when tackling challenging projects? So when I got this question, I thought, this is a really good one. And so I reached out to Jamie and I asked her a couple of follow-ups. And so Jamie's response was, I have a team that, to be honest, has not worked well together. And we have a challenging client project that we're working on. And I need to figure out a way to have them have more ownership and accountability. It's a mixed team, meaning that they are a group of departments that have come together. So, Jamie, we don't actually call that a mixed team. That's what we call teaming. And teaming actually comes from healthcare. So it's the idea of there's an emergency situation and someone has had an accident, and then we bring in a bunch of different people from different practices within the hospital to be able to find a solution for that patient. And so that is teaming. So it's, again, people who have not traditionally worked together, working together on this emergency, or in your case, this project. So there's some interesting aspects of your project. Building a culture of accountability and ownership doesn't happen on one project. It's the things that you do when they're not on the projects together. It's the environment that you are building before a project happens. But as we have it, we're in a project, so we've got to go with what we are in the moment. So with that, here's a couple of strategies that might help. One, have a pre-meeting before you begin the project. And this pre-meeting is more like a get to know you. So it sort of, for clients, when I say do the pre-meeting, a lot of times they get nervous because they feel like it's going to be a bunch of fluffy questions like, what's your favorite ice cream? No. What this is think of it like a job interview. Have them bring in their resume. Have them also bring in some things about themselves that they want the others to know. So it really is about them getting to know each other in terms of their technical skills. Now, in terms of their critical skills, and that's what historically people have called soft skills. I don't, I call them critical skills. What you would like for them to do is have them take a couple of assessments as a team. The one that I would recommend for this particular situation, because it's a project, I would recommend Working Genius. Working Genius will allow them to see what are their two areas of genius where their strength. There are two areas of competency, meaning they're really good at these particular things. They like them, but it's not, it's not always the space that they shine and it's easy to get to. And then there are two frustrations. And the frustrations are really more about the things that, yes, they can do these, but it takes them longer to do because they don't like doing it, because it's a frustration for them. And then within the Working Genius, you can do a team map. Couple of reasons why you want to do this. One, it allows everyone to learn a little bit more about themselves. If I'm someone that one of my geniuses, which it is discernment, you're going to want me at the beginning of the project. You're going to want me to really be there when the ideas are flowing and to be able to discern whether or not that's a good path to take or that's not a good path to take, meaning the person that's going to ask the right questions. We say play devil's advocate, but really it's not about devil's advocate. It's about asking the right questions. That's where you want your discerners to be. If my genius happens to be being more tactical, you're going to want me when we're starting to get into the weeds. You don't want me early on. That doesn't mean I don't attend those meetings. It means that I may not have a voice in the beginning of the project because I'm more tactical. And we need to really stay in the more brainstorming at the beginning of the project to get all the ideas out. And then after we've kind of siphoned through the ideas, then you're going to want those tactical pieces to sort of fall into place. Now, that's just a quick and dirty example, but an assessment like that is great because it allows people to see, oh, this is what my role is going to be on the project, coupled with here's kind of what my technical skills are. So it begins to have people have some ownership in how they are going to show up in the project. In terms of accountability, you'll need to set some ground rules, meaning that we should be able to disagree with each other. We should be able to have a healthy, productive conflict. But once we as a group have made a decision, we now need to be able to commit to that decision. And meaning that no bathroom conversations or hallway conversations about I disagree. Bring that disagreement to the table, hash that out, come up with a consensus, meaning a consensus commitment, and then move forward with that. And even if it's wrong, now you're into, well, we're going to fail. We're going to learn from the failure and we're going to quickly fix it. But I think a lot of accountability is less about people not wanting to take ownership and responsibility. It's more about a fear of failure. So make sure that in your culture, the culture that you're building, that it is okay to fail. It's okay to make a mistake as long as we are able to pivot quickly, learn from that mistake, and then fix it. Then the mistakes are part of the lesson. So, Jamie, I hope that helps. That's kind of a quick and dirty answer. Our second question comes from Tom. And Tom is really talking about some business strategy. So what Tom's question is that I don't want to feel like I'm apologizing for how much money it costs for my projects. How do I discuss the price without feeling like I have to apologize for the price, especially when I see the look? Tom, I love that. Well, the look, right, Tom? It's the look that you get when you know the client, you can see in the client's face that they got kind of smacked in the face by the price of the work that you're proposing. Tom, actually, I will say that this piece needs to be addressed way before you even give the price. So my mentor is a woman named Angelique Ruiz, and her company is called The Bold House, and her company teaches small businesses how to work in corporate settings, corporate clients, and get those big corporate clients. And so Angelique has this great system that she talks about where she really talks about co-creating the proposal with the client. When we co-create it, meaning I'm part of the process of really understanding what the service is going to be, what it's going to look like, how it's sort of laid out without giving away your secret sauce, of course. Tom, what happens then is that when you get to the price, which I always say, we don't call it the price, we call it the investment, right? You want people to really think of it as an investment inside of their business, not a cost, right? You don't want it to feel like it's in their cost center. You really want to feel like this is an opportunity for them to make money from this experience. So that's a quick and dirty on that. And we don't really need to talk about that, but right now in this question. But what I will say is that you want at that point for them to really see the value. And so the entire time that you're co-creating or really building the proposal with your client, you're showing them the value. What are you bringing to the table? Because if I know what the value of what you're bringing to the table is, I'm not going to get a lot of sticker shock when we get to the point of where you tell me how much this is going to cost. That's one. Two, if I understand the value and I understand the return on that investment for the value, I'm going to see that this is just a small amount that I'm really having to pay for a larger investment. And that's really where you want to be with your clients. You want to be in a space that they can see the value, they can see that the outcome is going to give them more value than the amount that they're putting in to invest in this. The other thing is a saying that my husband has all the time that I have to remind myself, and I actually remind my clients of this too when I'm talking to them, is that it is not your responsibility to count other people's pennies. So a lot of times we get nervous because we're thinking about the last thing we paid for or the last deal we made, and that might feel uncomfortable for us. But I will say to you, if you've laid out a clear proposal, if you've done all the steps you need to do to make sure that this is going to work for your client, after that, it is not up to you to decide how much money they have to spend. It is up to them, because what I have noticed is that when someone really wants something, they will move heaven and earth to get it, meaning they will figure out where the money's coming from. That's not up to you. Well, Tom, I hope that helps. And for everyone, have a beautiful Monday, and I will see you next Monday, same time.